The initial zeal of conversion is a gift from the Lord for a person to overcome maybe patterns of a former way of life, patterns or just whatever it is the person needs to overcome. The Lord is very willing to provide an abundance of grace out of the gate in order to help the person to form habits, to develop dispositions, and to experience some of the joy of living a Christian life, a zealous Christian life. And that's beautiful, and it's a gift. And then at some point, the Lord pulls back some of that grace, and that too is a gift. Because I think there can be an illusion early on in a conversion that I'm making all of this tremendous progress, and of course there's progress, but there can be either a kind of very overinflated, kind of expression of progress, like you think you're making a lot more progress than you actually have. And there can also be pride that can settle in, right? Like pride of like, look at all the great things that I'm doing. Look at how patient I've become. Look at how, charitable I've become. Look at all these things, right? And so I think what the Lord does is at some point he begins to pull back some of the grace. It's almost like removing the training wheels to allow us to feel our own poverty, to allow us to realize that, okay, I need the Lord to be in this place with me. This isn't like a one-man show. I'm going to just muscle my way to heaven. It's like when you have a fall and you humbly recognize and repent and acknowledge your sin, you come back and take the Lord's hand in a way, in a new way, in a deeper way, with a further recognition of your need for him. Because in the end, it's all about relationship. It's about relationship with Jesus and being faithful to him.
Yeah.
And so when he pulls back that grace, he does so. And when we fall, if we fall, and we recognize that, it's far better for us to humbly recognize our weakness than for us to have pride in our overinflated version of ourselves. And so as we continue to soldier on and to try to continue to grow, there's this kind of tension between our own weakness and the Lord's grace. And we kind of course there's growth, and of course but that first kind of fervor necessarily needs to die away. But not die away in the sense of like it's a bad thing. It becomes a more mature and kind of a more authentic version. You can think of a married couple who've been together for 30, 40, 50 years, right? I mean, on their first date, the things that happen on your first date, or maybe even after a year of marriage, look very different than, when you've been together for 30 or 40 years and you're sitting next to each other and you look in each other's eyes. It's like, there's a depth and a maturity and a beauty that was not possible 40 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And so it looks different, and but to say both of them are gifts. The initial zeal is a gift, and the drawing back and the going deeper is also a gift. And so what can feel sometimes like backsliding is not necessarily at all backsliding. It could be, but very often, even if you had overcome a pattern of sin and you hadn't sinned in a particular way for years, just because you fall into a sin does not mean that you're backsliding. It can be that the Lord is pulling back some of the grace and allowing you to take his hand one more time, more deliberately.
I want to say a big thanks to the College of St. Joseph the Worker based in Steubenville, Ohio. You'll recognize many of their faculty and fellows from the show, people like Dr. Andrew Jones, Dr. Jacob Imam, Dr. Mark Barnes, Dr. Alex Plato. Listen to this. Their program combines the rigor of an elite bachelor's degree with the practicality of training in the skilled trades. And their tuition model is structured so that students graduate without crippling debt. If you're a bright young man thinking about what college to go to, apply to a place where you not only learn the good, but gain the power to do it. Apply to the College of St. Joseph the Worker. If you're a parent, look into this college for your children. And if you're not in either category, just consider supporting the mission. Go to collegeofstjoseph.com/Matt Fradd to learn more. That's collegeofstjoseph.com/Matt Fradd to learn more. There will be a link below. Thanks. Would you do me a favor and click the subscribe button? I don't know if you know this, but it's 100% free, and it's one of the best ways to support the work that we're doing here at Pints with Aquinas. Help spread these excellent interviews all over YouTube, and I think you'd agree, there's a lot of junk on YouTube. We need more good conversations like this.